So in our deliberation and meeting with persons and so forth downstairs, I get to realize we have a lot of resources. So then when I'm speaking, please make it an interactive one so that we could be part, because people might not, some people in organization, as you know, IT guys, like once you say IT, the boy could even land the moon, even land put the thing on the moon, that boy could do it. Right? But they realize, that sometimes we have a community sometimes we tap into that could help each other. Right? So then, seeing that we are most of you inside IT related, this session, please, interesting, make it interactive as much as possible. Now, one of the things that I wanted to share, and please allow me, because I've only been officially a CEO for a year now. So I have a transition period that I'm still struggling with. And not only struggling with and trying to bring some things into the forefront. So you have to allow me to switch between an educator as a teacher for cybersecurity and now right? One of the first thing that came to my issue when I started doing the CEO job is, as a teacher, you know, after 3 o'clock, you still teaching, you're still doing work in marking papers and so forth. And 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock catch you there. You know, if you have a concept of time, as you come over into this realm, by 4, you hear noise outside. You know, so 4 o'clock hit, go. What you mean leave? 4 o'clock. Me say, what happened to 4 o'clock? I'm not registering that between 8 and is where the crunch time there. And 5 is where we start to slow down. And 4, pop, 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 click, 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 like turn off, everybody busting it. So I was still dabbling with that, right? Also, coming over, as I started to get on the administrative side, there was a lot of information for me to assimilate. And I have to assimilate at a very, very, very fast pace. And NCTI, working at the NCTI, I have to even move faster because I wanted to accomplish certain things in the NCTI before a certain time. I was just introducing, there were certain things that were not in place that I need to get up to a certain speed. And the staff that was there, because we are limited, we were very slow. So I say that to say, because I was limited in that staff, I have to now employ AI tools, plug them into different, so to train some of the staff. Now, here's one of the crazy things. As we were developing, there was few young person on staff that one of them we decide, okay, you're gonna help us with the taking of minutes and so forth and things like that, and get all that documentation done. Now, on her resume, she had the EDPM and so, but I know she will still have to do some learning and so forth, and we were willing to train her, but she just was not moving fast enough. So one time I decided, okay, maybe like 3 months in, when speed, I say, you know what? We're gonna transition the whole administration and how they communicate and put them on the Google form, where I could integrate more use of AI tools. One of the AI tools, as you would know, is Gemini, right? Now, one of those meetings, I told her, you don't have to come to the meeting today. Now, this girl was happy. She was happy to not be in the meeting, because although she's not in the meeting, she's still getting she payment, right? She's still getting she salary. But that girl have not slightest idea what just sidewipe her just now there, right? And I had to go back to her and say, you're not even gonna ask why you no longer welcome in the meeting. You're not even gonna ask what's going on. Then we had a discussion. Really and truly, when you plug that tool and everybody have a Gmail account on, and everybody log into their account and have the meeting, Gemini gonna record that meet. So good now that the colloquial language is being picked up and this thing. So she didn't know that she is gradually becoming what? Obsolete. And in the past couple of, I've been working with some teachers. If you could think carefully, what is one of the biggest subjects that a secretary need to have that might become obsolete in a couple of years? Not only English, not IT. No, remember IT now. Hear it. EDPM. EDPM. And the struggle is that over the past couple of years I've been teaching, there has been a shift where students are deciding to EDPM compared to the IT because EDPM is easier. Right now, EDPM in next to it, you will not need someone who have EDPM administration, right? And I've already proven that it's one of the things that I've seen. Is one of the things I into the principals as I'm meeting with them, and I'm showing them how to understand why it's becoming obsolete, why it will be obsolete, because an administration just need to have an idea, put that in the tool and be able to get what is it. Is what we need to start really pushing, right? Now, as we were going through, we realized that, okay, then a lot of our staff members, even within the different organization, have a lot of data that they need to work with, right? Now, in the Google Workspace, as you will know, there's two, the one that you get free and the one that you actually pay for. The only difference between some of them that you have certain applications that might be in the one that is, and also they have a disclaimer that your information will not be used for the further development of Google product. But the free one, all the information out there, right? So in doing this, I had to bring my team up to speed to work at the pace that we want to work with and the way that we want to work it and to get them involved in a lot of things. Now, we have a lot of data. Now, one of the things that I have problem with it, to be honest with you, if you give me a book, I mean, touch it and it heavy and it thick, me say that is not happening. I cannot read that. I cannot see. I appreciate and I admire the young ladies who sit down with these big love novel from cover to cover because I will not reach page 10 properly. By the time I reach page 10, I go and I have to read over the whole thing because we don't, you know. So then, when these tools come in, of what they're doing, we were able to now analyze a lot more at a faster speed. Have anybody in here use any of these tools to analyze, deep dive into any document? Anyone? Okay, good. Wonderful. So we're going to touch base on that a little bit. Now, if we do the history, because majority of persons are more familiar with ChatGPT. If we do the history and the research, you realize that ChatGPT was like a ripoff of Gemini, right? Because they first gained development and they took some of it workings and create chat. So the real guy who you should be really focusing on is Gemini, right? So we have some recent development with it. You know, this is all the work. Some of those are trial and training, so then you don't have anything too really big. But it has two aspects to it, right? For IT guys and so forth. You have the regular one, and I think even with the free version, you're able to switch between them. You have two options in the corner, one which is and one which is pro, that deal with the analytics of statistics. You have to deal with coding, maths, and anything like that. It will switch between them, right? And then you'll be able to get a better answer. One of the good things about this, the account, the one that we have, like the workspace, and I'm gonna be caution of it, and then I'm gonna show you where you could be more specific. Now, with this particular option of Gemini, you are look it down here. Yeah. It was in the upper corner. I don't know how they move it. So this one, you had the reasoning, maths, and the if you want to build code for anything like that, any of those things that you want to do malware coding, you have to do the reasoning. If you just want a general response, then you do fast all around help. Now, if you have a document, right? If you have a document, so sometimes some people are very concerned about the privacy of their content. So as part of the research in using Gemini, you could take out all of the, like say for example, you have NIS SVG, take out all those tags out of the document so that it signal or pull that into your content or put that out there to the wall. And then you should be able to just put up that data because that just become data once you pull out a different organization name because it makes no sense, right? It just become, and you could put up all the data. Now, in the case of this, where we are able to put up the document, right? What Gemini does something really interesting. It creates a audio of the whole document automatically. So instead of reading, you know, and you not only listen, you could listen while what it also does is that you could do what is called a deep dive. Now, a deep dive would take Gemini deep into that document and trends and stuff. One of the things that we did with this, because what we did, this was the CSEC syllabus. What we did is upload the syllabus for the secondary schools teachers. One of the things that it mentioned to the teachers or to the principal is that it seems like the book is built completely theoretical, the student experience, right? And when they look at it, actually some schools teach IT without them even going to the IT lab. Yeah. So we start saying, even while I was teaching, I used to ask, so when do you take the students to the lab to do programming? When you take them to do this? They don't. So most of the work coming right up is theoretical. Now that explains why when students reach community college and they start out grade 1 with 90 something in computer science, by year 2 is 15 of them because the foundation is not down there. Look at that a little bit because that is important as we move forward. So what it does here in this particular one is that it creates an audio of that book and an analytical audio if you need it to be at that particular book. Now, you could play the audio. Do I have to unmute my speaker on my computer?
Welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive into a really key document shaping regional education for, well, the digital age. It's the CSEC Information Technology Syllabus. CSEC, that's the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate. Our mission here is to really break down this curriculum. This is the one effective since 2020 to get a handle on its structure, what knowledge it's prioritizing and how it's supposed to prepare students for today's tech world.
Right. And the rationale behind it from the Caribbean Examinations Council is pretty interesting. They've deliberately merged three different fields. You've got computer science, ICT information and communications technology, and office automation.
Yeah, what Gemini does is break that book up, the monotony of it, into like a podcast setting. And it could go in such an extent that you as a student, or even you as a teacher, or you as the statistician could pause it, ask it question, and it respond to you right there based on the information that is coming through. So you could see that you getting an assistance very well in breaking down a 100-page book into like 10 minutes and get an overview, and then continue the deep diving of that particular object. Now, when you do this, let's say for example, this came in very handy. We were in a training with a particular organization, pretty big organization here in St. Vincent. We were walking them through in how we could they can use AI to assist them. So one of the things that they wanted was a policy to assist them in putting in that they could manage movable device in their organization, because you know in some organization you're not allowed to bring a flash drive, you're not allowed to take a computer home, but they want a policy for that. Now normally they would have made that policy and it would have taken them approximately 3 weeks to a month to get it done, get it fine-tuned and everything like that. They were able to build that policy in minutes. And once they review and compared, the policy that was given to them here is the same as similar to the policy that they would have built. Not only that, I even took it a bit further, because now you have the tool, now you understand the tool. What is it you're going to do with this tool? You just can't go and build the policy. So not only were they able to build the policy, but you can tell it for new employees, new person coming into the organization, build an assessment so that we as the administrator can ascertain that the person did review the particular policy. If they fail and get below a certain grade, they have to go and do over the policy. If not, they could continue on to the next policy or finally get employed. And in doing that, they were able to build an assessment that they could implement in the organization to make sure new recruits were able to read the policy as administrator and manager is able to read and see the score that they get, because you don't get the score. It build a literal quiz that the administrator receives the score. And then you're able to ascertain that, okay, this person did read. Yes, because if you give me a 20-page policy, that ain't getting read so easy. But if my employment was reliant on me finally reading it and pass a certain score, yeah, you'll get it read. You'll get it read. Right? But if you leave it standalone, it ain't happening. So this is how this one came in real handy for that particular organization. An organization handles person in the field, in the office, out the field, high administration, doing a lot of work outside. So they have to have a lot of policy in place for organizing. And if they were supposed to hire a consultant to come in, they are supposed to hire another person to review, it's going to cost them not only financially, but time as well. And they were able to deal with that, print it, and have it assessed and built. Now, people might think that because it's AI, human is out of the loop. And that is so wrong. That is very wrong. We are still needed. We have to assess and make sure that the question it asks and the content it brings is of the high standard. So don't believe because they use AI, a job done. In the case of the girl who did the one for Gemini, so I did ask her, so Gemini come, is it you throw your hands up? Is that the end of it? She didn't know what to do. Me said, no, you have to understand, and here's how you have to defend yourself. You have to tell boss, say, boss, listen, I know about Gemini, and I know it does make errors. So you still need me to go and review the errors and make sure it aligns with your. You have to defend the bread, right? You can't just leave it and I just take it. I said that you have to be ahead of the technology to understand it. You're going to walk and defend yourself with the technology. All right? So in this particular one, you're able to get everything brick. So we have, this is one of the tools compared to ChatGPT that cater for almost everybody. So you see, if I was supposed to put that book in deep research mode, it would tear it. I could even use that same book or same content and create a video. You create an image, you create a camera. So most of the things that you see in online that look a little bit off, most of the time, a particular tool that is doing it. So in terms of everybody know about DeepSeek? You've heard of DeepSeek before? Right. Heard of DeepSeek before? This is one of the tools that brought DeepSeek, part of DeepSeek idea into it. Remember, DeepSeek was China. DeepSeek came online and nearly synced ChatGPT, and so some of the technologies over here. So this deep research is actually an aspect. So if you are supposed to take something like that, let's say you get an understanding that these new employees you have in the head had, right? And if you get one like me, realize the reading is not. You, instead of creating a document, you could actually create a video just like what Simone did with the content. No one is no longer reading. They're watching a video that is dictated. No, that'll keep my interest, because if you give me a book with no picture, I ain't reading either. Because I learned to read off a comic book, right? And I love to see pictures. So you create a video of Simone doing a representative Simone talking through, and every time, maybe every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes in that video, it hit yes or no. If it hit no and you get it wrong, it rewind back. And you have to watch it over. And you have to watch it over. And then you move forward. You have a policy or a document that is easy for everyone in your organization to review. What does it? Listen, right? Very interesting. Now, the guided learning, my friend just mentioned it for me down in ChatGPT. This same. So instead of giving you the answer, the guided learning asks question. Do you understand that? Move on, just like all the ChatGPT one. So the guided learning is actually. So this is everybody okay with this one? All right. The thing with this, as with any chatbot, if you ask it question, so with this one, you have to be very specific. You have to ask it question pertaining to what you upload. So you're going to say, based on what I upload, tell me such and such and such. This is the case with this one. But every so often, because it's still on internet, it's going to bring content from different parts to supplement what it has. So Google update itself again. They brought in this one. So this one is very specific to what you want it to use, right? And I think most organizations might be interested in for their thing. This one is notebook. It was recently done this grade. So how this is helpful for an organization is based on what you give it in hierarchy or how a project should be run. It makes a mind map. Something that is easy for you to understand. I have one here. Let me just see. Yes. This notebook, you can see the application, it's called Notebook LLM. Right? So what this one does, based on the content you upload to it, it creates somewhat of a tree for you to understand. So here, it spits out, it analyzes the work, it spits out the main content of that particular book. Right? After that, it gives me examination format. It tells me exactly how the exam is set up. So you could see how you have to do a presentation, or you could grab whatever content they give you and create this 1, 2, 3. And then you do the explanation. And then it breaks down everything for you. That is a mind map, right? The good thing about this is that is this aspect over here on the left hand side. Because unlike Gemini and the others, this only source what you ask it from what you give it. It ain't pulling nothing from the internet, right? So let's say you have your organization policy or project. You upload that. That is the only thing you upload in. Ask it question, and because that rated or checked, that is the only place it going for the source, for the answer, right? In doing that, Once that is complete, one of the things that it does is that while it's giving you the response that you're asking for it, it actually shows which part of the document it got the information from. So in the case of let's say for a teacher who have to build a lesson plan and have to find out where they get the information to do it. So only that. Say you're making a new policy, and I am a bank. I just started a new bank, but I have the policy for lending from Scotia and from First Caribbean and BSVG. Now, you're going to put me to read through that for the next 2 months to build our policy. No. I upload the 2 documents here, right? I highlight them and I'll ask it. Based on the lending policy we like to create, I want you to build me a policy that takes content from both Scotia and Bank of SVG. Just keep it in simple and create a complete new policy. What it will do, it will search both content and build you a complete new, and it will highlight which of those the source come from and tell you why it did what it did. For you. Once you build a policy, you review it, you can now save it, you have a new policy, which taking you 3 months is now taking a few minutes to get it done. Right? So this one was very, very practical. Now, right? Let's come back to your policy. You're building your policy. You're a new company, you're building your policy about IT. Okay, good. You're creating a new policy about IT that you did. Now, in this aspect, you can now be able to, with the same policy, create a video. With the same policy, create an audio, create a mind map, and with the same policy, in one breath, create an assessment to make sure that they use one of these to complete the policy. The analytics is returned now to your administrator up here, where you went through, which part you didn't read, which part of the video skip over, and which part of the audio didn't listen to. And then your administrator can now determine whether or not you're competent enough to be in an organization and follow. Now, the reason why this is so helpful is because, as you mentioned throughout the session today, you would hear the idea of training, retraining, and retraining. A matter of fact, I know of an organization here in St. Vincent that part of its duty, once it's aligned with your organization, is to willfully send you spam email. Right? And once they send you spam email, if anybody click on it, they will know who click on it, and they come in now and say, you need to review something. Yeah, you need to be retrained because you just let go company secret a while ago. That is part of their duty. So part of this now could be part, Yeah. So they now will try now, part of their retraining for you now might create videos on the different policies for you to re-listen, for you to relearn. They might go and ask you, what is it you're doing? And then based on that, once you go through that training again, they will assume you do it, and radically these kind of traps to send to you, whether the employees are learning or they're playing the fool or being lackadaisical about their training, right? So this particularly handy. I assume everybody have a computer in your room. Everybody have a phone though. The good thing about this, what people do, and most of you by now would understand. Missy probably have like 3 of them. If you these phones that we have, I don't think the general people understand, The phones that we have as status symbols could actually run an organization from head to bottom. Once it's set up properly, so what we're going to do for you to access these applications, we're gonna first start with Gemini. You cannot log into like the Google app. You have to actually go to Chrome, google.com and log in from the browser. And then we're gonna try login, and I'm gonna give you some small tasks to do. and let we do something quickly instead of having your here speaking the whole time. So let me go grab your phone, grab your laptop, let me see what could happen. Grab your phone, grab your phone. Even in persons online phone as well. Well, you have a computer, so just pull that up one time. And when you already pay attention, just give us a hands up so we know that you're online as well. Now, what is going to remember now, you might on your phone, you might have a document and so forth. Nobody knows that is your document. So you could use it as a trial on your phone, and then we could move forward it. We just want to see how you're able to interact with the application as we move forward. So everybody good? Everybody got in? You got in? Okay. Good? All right. So we're gonna try the Gemini first. All right. So we're gonna just choose, the 2.5 flash. Nothing too fancy, just the 2.5 flash. If you have a document, maybe a news article, download, it have to be nothing too secretive, like a news article on your phone that you save, maybe a little story, a little PDF that document you have on your phone that you could use. You could go ahead and upload it this by using this plus sign here. Yeah, you could upload any file there. Yeah, PDF file will work. It seems to work with almost anything. The internet seems strong enough. Online, you can do the same. You could use a Word document, PDF document. All of those are okay. So I think I have a receipt here. I'm going to try that. As I say, it don't have to be anything too... All right, I think the receipt is good. So when you upload it, when you upload whatever file, it goes overview and audio overview. Did you get that option? Well, once it is a file that has been uploaded, it will just do it. It's supposed to happen in all of them. Let me just, hold on, let me just try on my side, and then I'm gonna upload. Let me upload something a little bit more hefty. But anyway, did you get yours on generate? It's still running. Ask it to generate an audio. Yours got it? And it's generating it? Okay. So once you're able to add the file and actually generate, you can now speak to the Gemini, but you have to speak to it. This is where the prompt come in. You have to speak to it to the extent that, based on the book or the content just upload, you always have to reference the uploaded document, and you ask it for the question. You ask it any question. You want a summary? Do you want to create a quiz? Do you want to create an assessment? Do you want it to be rewarded? Do you want it to be anyhow you want to do that thing, if you could get it? Wonderful. What are the salient points I should be taken into consideration when in this meeting? And give me some elaboration. And then you'll be able now to, and you could also ask it referencing which page it come from. So you could go and do the back end. So you even make a little word easy again. And it just give you in a text-based summary. I'm not too certain because it give some, it just gave me the overview. I find it give me it quickly when it do an Excel sheet as well, but it will, try it again later on, but it will give you that overview. Because that's what I give you, that's what I have it read there for you. That is the audio overview. Is anyone getting through online? He got it? You got yours on too? Right, so I'm not too sure why it's hit and miss, because mine is always consistent. So this now, with something like this, what I normally do with Gemini, because again, there is so much information, and once in administration, you're going to be overwhelmed with a lot of information that you have to cover. Some of them you might need to sit down and read. Some of them you could actually have it read that for you while you're following and you're just making jottings. And these are for, even if you have, for persons who have young ones at home, these are the kind of tools you could show them how to navigate to get them to understand their work better. Any question on that one before we go, now that we get it done?
Okay, yeah, I was saying I have used AI the opposite way, where I take a recording of a session, like an audio recording of a meeting, and then put it into an AI that can generate a transcript. Then taking that transcript, I put it in a nice format, use AI again, take the raw transcript, format it in a way where it can then go in like a blog post, right? Even use AI and generate an image for the blog post. That would be like a featured image, and put that on an intranet, right? So, for example, could then, log in and access and learn from it as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yes, I appreciate that. If you feel ideas, don't think I'm only, y'all have experience that could share, please, and share with me. Because once I get these things, is these things, because sometimes when you do, to be honest with you, I think some persons just make it, now I'm in administration, you have to do 101 things, right? And with what you said there, by listening to audio, you have to go, write that. There's a whole night work. You're going to be frustrated, but now is 1, 2, 3. On top of that, there's a little plugin you can plug into your any chat thing that you do. Y'all should know about Quillbot, right? Right. Quillbot. Them school children know. The school children know. So Quillbot has been my friend, right? To be honest with you, and I'm not afraid to say it. English language, although we speak it, is one of the hardest things for me. And you see, when you come in administrative position now, your letters them have to day proper. Right. Can write letter to commissioner and some green thing there inside there. Right? So what I did now, you get this now, you can now incorporate Quillbot, and it will, as you write in, it tells you what are the homonyms, synonyms, and everything like that to make your language a little better. And then you upload that. So everybody's familiar with Quillbot. You have to go there, right? Okay, good. 1 before. All right. So everybody okay with that? You could do your little, you could now ask a question on that, ask your questions on whatever document you upload as well. Now, Notebook take it to another level. Right? Yes. It take it to another level. So this is the studio aspect. And this is where yours come in as well with the reports. You could build reports on the document and everything like that. Now, the audio overview in this one is a little bit different. So when you go on the audio overview, it asks you, do you want it to be a deep dive? Do you want it to be a brief? Do you want it to be a critique? Or do you want it to be a debate? So whatever content you upload, you select how LMM want to deal with it. And once you create it, this particular overview, once it's generated and it's finished, and you start listening to it, literally, do you have any questions? And you could ask it there. Give your feedback on that and then continue. Have anybody been interacting with Rufus for Amazon? Amazon have one. The bill's in right there. Right in a Rufus. Real helpful, yeah. I was looking for a shoe for the little one. And then remember in the product description, it don't give you everything. So Rufus coming now, I say, which material is it made of? Is it durable and everything like that? And Rufus will tell you, well, based on the information they given, it seems like it's made of synthetic material. I didn't know where that information is, but Rufus pulling that for you. So it make it similar to this now, and it give an audio overview as well. So this one will do it. And the good thing about this now, because one of the things I've been telling some of the educators, some of the teachers, is that you could now make a little Jack and Jill story and turn it into French or Spanish, and let the children go home and read and understand French and Spanish, because you could choose the language we could do it. So all you need to start improve the foreign language aspect of all the schooling right now. So that is one thing I'm doing. And they were very pleased about this. They were very pleased about this. All right. So even if you have children at home, you have persons at home, even yourself, you have a document to read, you have a book to read, just get, most of them have soft copy. Just throw it inside here, read it, and you should be okay. All right? Then you could ask questions. You want it shorter, you want it longer, whatever the case may be. Now, the good thing about this is that you could take one thing and transition everything. So let's say you have the first page to build the report on. So you could take the first page of whatever you have, make an audiobook, you listen to it, okay, you understand it, right. Take the same first page, copy it, and put it into the report. You build the report, you see it look okay, then you move on. And then you now take that, as my friends say, take it, upload it, and send it, give other persons to access it in matter of minutes, right? This is the one that is big. It released earlier this year. They perfected, and now they a big advertisement about it. So I've been following this one pretty nicely. So you could check this one out. If you have persons at home, now this is the teacher in me now. If you have a child at home who need to study, right? Because I think by now, I just like my friend say, from Credit Union, he said that his child, the AI is a challenge to him, others using it, and daddy telling him don't use it too much. So them scoring better than him, right? So, but take it to another level now. So, because it's the same tools teacher going to do, right? Same content, take it here, put it in a flashcard, go study. After you don't do the flashcard, throw it into the quiz, make a quiz. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So this brings us back to where my friend here, fellow panelists, where this could be one of the leveling playing field for children who need help, right? Because the books and all the content most of the time, if it's the literature, persons get tricked that you need the textbook. You don't need textbook. You need the stories, right? So if I know the story, I could go, even if the story is in old Latin, like some of them like Shakespeare, is in Latin, you throw it in and convert it back properly to English, and you have the child, you know, do little flashcards, and then they take the same one, they could make themselves interesting, take the same one and do the quiz and review, and I'm guarantee you that if they do that, some of them quiz questions come back. Now the question with educators, when I was doing that, is that cheating? No, the child learning. Because by reviewing the quiz, now because review the quiz, they get the practice question and they come and do good on your exam, they're not learning. Some people struggling. Isaac wrote memory. But which one, when you rank, which one get pulled in when you rank? Somebody, you know, my friend in back said it the last time the math come. Is what the school system is set up for them to pass an exam. If you want them pass an exam, they're going to pass the exam. If you want to do them for critical thinking, then you have to bring in the practical part in the classroom. But at the end of the day, because of our system is set up, it's an exam-based system, right? Pass or fail, multiple choice, unfortunately, right? But this normally helps. And on top of that, I don't know if organization has a discriminatory rule. Like most international and regional organizations have what is called an inclusive clause. So we have some, or we have some individual, they might not be able to, like those that just flip the letters, dyslexic. No, that don't have a physical, like I can't watch Masters and say, he dyslexic, right? But then he don't get hired. And he on the job. You're gonna fire him when you find out he making mistakes because he did not identify that when he was being hiring. Or should he identify that when he is before or when he's hiring? And do we have anything to prevent someone from being hired because they have those? Because for some reason, if you look in our education, secondary school system, there's a lot of children have that coming up. But CXC, listen, CXC now has to make accommodation for you to hire a reader or write on the day of exam with these children. So that means you as the business owners, you shouldn't be making that an issue to lose them, right? So then, look at it. Look at it. Look at here. You have the audio. You have the video. So now you realize, boy, you have, and you know, but the man can't read him properly, man, properly, and you have him as an important position. So you either might fire and find yourself possibly in front of the court, or you find ways of assisting these workers now to start achieving what they need to achieve. And here again, we have the same thing. So if you have workers that you know struggling, I think it's about time the technology is there to assist them. You understand? It's not everybody. I hear somebody. I don't know. So any feedback on that?
Yes. Regarding the dilemma you mentioned a while ago about, when you ask the question as to whether or not it's cheating, I have because I think, especially as a parent, your responsibility is to find strategies to ensure that your child's learning is reinforced. And you may have some children who are okay with just reading the content and they're able to read, but not all children are like that. And visual, right? And this tool clearly the mixture of strategies to make sure that the material is reinforced. The learning. Yes. I have 3 children.
Any of them at Form 4, Form 5? They get in there? Not, oh, they're young. Right. Even if it's CPA level. Say they get hold of a tool such as Gemini, which and while I think you're going to introduce them to it because of the nature of your work, right? So then they provide a work because they could provide this, as you see it right now, based on how you type, a child SBA in an hour, including pictures, everything, right? Programming even worse because they're giving you exact executable codes to be done. So your child did that, right? Remember, you see your child up typing and retyping and editing and so forth, and come out to DSB and submit it. And the teacher said, or the boss man say, you could not have done this on your own in a night. We can't accept this. How do you argue that, seeing that you now are looking to reinforce your child cognitive development at home? Is it you're going to be the parent from an IT background and go down and sit in the office and say, listen, she had to know what she's doing to get this done. And there is no rules in your book and regulation about AI being used. So what is the problem? What is your take on that?
Get the thing done in a day and keep it until submission time. Because guess what? Sometimes a lot of technical people do this kind of stuff, man. Yeah, they have your vehicle down for a long time, make you believe it. There is a they put it in and say, man, come, they collect some money from you. You know what I mean?
Now, and I'm going to speak to this from an admin, a teacher, and a parent. As a teacher, some administration feel like you don't work hard enough unless they see you in lab or in the in the room there, marking and so forth and stressed out, right? When you don't do the lesson plan in minutes and just the breathing. But the back part is, let's say you have a document to submit a project and you done the project within less time. You have to carry the project maybe to the supervisor for revision and everything like that. You don't do the revision. Even if you were doing it manually, the idea is not true. So by going to the supervisor and amending stuff, it's not the same as you going to the AI and do it one time and done. You want it perfect. As the parent, you as the administrator who on the policy could say, you know, that same document, operate like you're the administrator and give me some questions I should ask that I think the employee should know policy. You give you them and you ask them in an interview setting and you get the children to do. Now, one of the things that I'm looking at the children and then come back at the administrator, I think there might be a level at which you no longer bright enough for handling children. Right? So sometimes that is why evening class and thing come in, you pass them on to someone who could help them. But now, you have AI. So me as bright as you now. So me just need your textbook. Give me the textbook, let me upload it. Give me the policy, let me upload it. Let me hear you understand what's going on. And then you could ask it. It's because the matter of what you ask it. You could ask it, give me the answer and possible responses to look for. And it gives you some of the things that the children can feedback. So you have all these two main ones were the main ones I wanted to bring out for you. Okay? So any questions on this? Along? All right. So I think my time is up. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity and time for.
Thank you very much. Did you enjoy that session? I love that. The whole, I must say I learned. I didn't know about the notebook LM. So there are a lot of, tons of AI tools. I chat GPT all the time, but trust me, there are a lot more. I'm glad you enjoyed this session.